Making a response video to the first 2 minutes of a Gratex video. Yeah, just to change the subject a little. Antinatalism. So he doesn't like this idea. Like, this guy makes, every one of his videos, he's always making comparisons, pointing out people's duplicity or their hypocrisy. You know, hypocrisy is a big thing for him, and most of his examples demonstrate some sort of hypocrisy, like people throwing flowers for the dead victims of an airline crash or something. You know, how people have disproportionate values, and those values seem hypocritical. And so when you use analogies or examples, similes, to demonstrate where his values are hypocritical, he says, no, I'm not going to play. I don't want to deal with that. And so it's just a joke. So basically the scenario is look, you know, there's certain truths about this procreation thing, right? You can't get consent, and you can't control the experiment. It's pretty much can be stated there's guaranteed failure risk. It's guaranteed failures. There's a guarantee that somebody's going to pay a horrific, torturous price. So you could analogize it to a nuclear power, the decision to have nuclear power. And what if we knew going in that there's an inevitability of victims being created, a certainty of it? And yes, it won't be a zillion of them, but there'll be quite a few of them, and it's a certainty. And so then the question just becomes, how badly do we need nuclear power? But the choice is you either have it or you don't have it. There's no half pregnant here. There's no halfway. There's no choice. One side has to win. Not have it or have it. And the have it side is basically just I want it. There's no urgency. There's no necessity. It's just an I want answer. And so they're basically saying quite clearly, I'll create victims based on what I want. And that's just tough shit for the victims. And it can't be interpreted any other way. I'm worth it, is all he's saying. And, no, he doesn't think that's a fair argument. He thinks it's ridiculous to use logic like that. Sorry. No, it's perfectly rational to use logic that way. The fact that life exists before we existed doesn't make life better than us, doesn't make better than our logic. You know, the fact that life existed before it could be logically, the fact that there was nobody at the deciding, nobody overlooking the plan, you know, when the first cell replicated, saying, oh, that's a good idea, yeah, do that. Or analyzing the risks, or evaluating the sensibility of this event of nature. Doesn't mean it's a good event. You know, shit happens every day that's not a good event. And it happens because it happens, because it can happen. And because it can doesn't make it mean that we should say, let it continue to happen. That's why we have a brain, that's why we can make judgments, we can do all that. We can logically analyze and say, oh, this is just a simple, obvious problem with you. You need it. The world doesn't need it. You need it. And that's it. You know, there's nothing else here. You're just talking about what you need. You're not talking about what needs to exist or what needs to happen. You're just talking about what you need to be happy or comfortable or to feel good about things. And that's it. So, I mean, this isn't that complicated. So, yeah, if you're not willing to defend your obnoxious aggression, and it's an obnoxious aggression to say we must have it, even though we know it's dangerous, and we basically have certain knowledge of certain failure, then, yeah, you're beneath contemptible to judge anybody else ever. If you can't man up and come up with a better excuse than I want it, then you have no right to judge anyone who acts out of bigotry or ignorance, because you're just declaring yourself, yeah, I'm allowed to be ignorant, I'm allowed not to use logic, I'm allowed to just talk about what I feel and say it's legitimate and it's the truth, and therefore we must act on my feelings. Yeah. So anyway, I'll probably watch the rest of the video when I'm feeling a little stronger. It's really hard to take. Gratex is he's a bad brew. Anyway, so yeah, so now I'll go watch another Mystic video. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're never really on the same video at the same time, which has always been a problem with us. When we don't title the videos. I mean, I don't like his titles. He doesn't like my titles. We didn't do the regarding thing enough, so the continuity of the conversation does break down a bit. I'll be back.